always post Bible studies to my channel, and y'all ain't seen one in a minute. And that's what I want to post. But if I can be like 100% real, the reason why I haven't posted one is because, hey y'all, long time no see. But I am going to do a get ready with me and just a few updates about my life and kind of just like be super honest and transparent with you all. So that's what this video is going to be. I'm going to be getting completely ready. I literally just threw this wig on and glued down the front, and then I'm going to, do my makeup, do my hair, all that good stuff, and get dressed and go. Getting ready for a cute little date night, a movie date. So keeping it kind of simple but still cute. And I have like an hour, which would normally be good, but whenever I'm filming it tends to take me like much longer. So I'm like, okay, let's go ahead and get started. So pretty much whenever I start, I'm like, ooh, wigs be looking crazy on camera when you put them behind your ears. But yeah, I kind of just get my hair out of the way. That way I don't get makeup all over it. And I do my hair last. I kind of want to just do like a straight, like super straight look. I'm just going to pin the front back and then start working on my face. It is reading week for school, so I actually have time. I'm kind of like super excited about that. But yeah, my life has been like, it's been all school and work. But thank goodness, like for this week, it's not been too bad. This is just a primer. This primer, one of my best friends gave me this. And I'm like, you're awesome. She was like, yeah, I don't really like it. And I'm like, girl, that primer is like $40. You just, okay, I'll take it. It's crazy. So I love it. I'm like, I'm actually gonna have to buy this because I didn't use primer before, but I would use it like on my eyes, but not under my foundation. I don't know. So I was like, oh, I have oily skin. I use moisturizer. Like the makeup has something to stick to. But I started using this when she gave it to me, and now I'm like addicted. So I'll probably be using it all the time now. I'm gonna have to go get me some more whenever I run out of this. Get foundation. I be looking super crazy when I put my foundation on because I just do dots, and then it looks crazy. It looks really, really crazy. It comes together, I promise. But anyways, so the move to Dallas so far, I mean, I'm absolutely loving it. There are like small little things that have been inconveniences that I was like, I normally would probably stress out over. Like I literally didn't get a couch for my living room until yesterday. Ordered one forever ago. Something went wrong with the original couch that I ordered. Oh Lord. Yeah, something went wrong with the original couch. Like the delivery date got mixed up, and then they were like, oh, we can't deliver it until January. And I'm like, what? Like, that's crazy. Like, if I have to reschedule the delivery date, it's pushed all the way back till January. Okay, well, cancel my order. So I canceled it and got my money back, and then ended up paying double for the couch that I ended up going with. But I'm really glad that I went with that one because it's literally like the perfect aesthetic. And it looks really, really good with the little bit of things that I actually do have in my living room. So I was like, okay, this worked out good. But yeah, that was like one thing. And then my family suffered like a huge loss right before I came. And so that was something that we were trying to like cope through together as well. Like something that's uncontrollable, but also it was a loss of someone who, like, she pushed me so much as it pertained to my faith. She was always telling me to pray to God, always telling me to be specific with him, always telling me like, make sure you read your Bible, baby, like make sure you're tithing. Yeah, like every bit of advice that I ever went to her for, she was always taking it back to God, and she was always so proud of everything that I did. And I told her, about my plans to come to school, of course. And she was so excited for me. so excited. So I know that she's proud, and it was kind of traumatic. You know, it was just traumatic. I'm not even gonna get into that. It was just traumatic, but I know that she's proud. I know that she's happy. I know that, like, sometimes I have moments where I'm like, oh, I just wish I could call her and tell her about this experience, because it's something that she would totally just love and enjoy. Because every time I moved to a new city with travel nursing, she would always like look up churches, and she would watch like church online and things like that. And so she would look up churches and be like, okay, maybe you should try this one out, or this is a really good pastor that I've heard of. And so she would always find churches for me. And then, like, even if she didn't have one for me to go to, whenever I would come back in town and see her, she'd be like, okay, so you found a church? Did you find a church? Because it's not acceptable not to go to church. And I'm like, I know. She was just such an angel on earth. And yeah. So sometimes I'm like, oh, I wish I could call her and tell her about this experience, because I know that she would just die. Like, she would just love it. So, but yeah, I mean, 'tis life. And what gives me solace is knowing, like, that there's nothing more that she wanted than to be with the Lord. Like, and so it's like we have our own things that we have to struggle through and battle through when people pass away. But it's like, you know, we're here on borrowed time, and no one belongs to us. God is just allowing us to borrow them. And so I had to come to grips with that. And that way of thinking has definitely aided me in my grieving process. So that's, you know, just a few things that when I came here, I was like, But it has been amazing. It's been an amazing experience so far. My apartment, I absolutely love it. It could be quieter. When I first moved in, y'all, I moved in like the middle of August, and so the pool was still open, and so it was so loud. And y'all know how like apartments are. Like, it was just so loud. I was so annoyed, but the pool has closed. Praise the Lord. Everyone else is probably sad but me. I'm like, yes, now it's gonna be quiet, because I feel like there was a pool party like every day. I'm like, oh my God. And it would be late, and I'm a nurse, so I'm like, I gotta get up at 5:30 in the morning, and then my classes were at like 8. I'm like, I have to wake up early every single day of the week, and y'all are up partying outside. It was annoying, but that was the only thing. And that's to be expected. Like, you're gonna deal with noise in apartments. Like, I gotta make sure we're all blended. Okay. So yeah, those were the big things. And then of course, like, school has presented like a few challenges within itself. Like, there are so many things that you don't expect when you start school, and I love to share because I'm like, I want people to be prepared. They prepare you a lot when you start school. Like, they tell you like, hey, you know, if you've heard this, sometimes this happens, or, you know, they make sure that they equip you for the changes that you're going to go through too. Like, a lot of the chapel messages that we hear are specifically for students in seminary. But I have to be honest. So, like, when I first got here, it was like a shock. Like, I loved everything that I was learning, but having had traveled so many places and having had listened to so many teachers, there were a few, like, I have to give props to my pastor back home because he's absolutely amazing. But there were a few where I was like, I was listening to this person, and this is like low-key the prosperity gospel, toxic purity culture, Like, if I serve the Lord this much, then I'll get this much. Like, there was even one church that I absolutely loved that church because they had an amazing, I know I look crazy, y'all, especially under these lights, but don't judge me. I promise it's gonna all come together. But anyways, they had an amazing youth ministry. And I mean, like, the church itself was huge, but they would have like these gatherings like once a month for the youth. Well, not even youth, but young adults. And like, I would go to that church, and everybody that was there, like, it wasn't like everyone who was there went to that church. It was like people would travel in to go to those events. Like, that's how big their youth ministry was, or their young adult ministry. I don't know why I keep saying that. Oh my gosh. So yeah, like, they would have these huge events, and the teaching was great. But toward the end of me going there, because I was on a travel nurse contract, I was only there for 3 months at that time. But yeah, toward the end of me going there, the pastor started doing this, like, he started deconstructing his faith, which, if you don't know what that is, it's kind of like breaking everything down that you've ever been taught, or all of the pillars of Christianity, the main beliefs. You're breaking them down, and you're kind of going through, like, okay, you're reasoning through, why do I believe this, or why is this true? And some people think of that like in a negative light. The more that I've found out about it now, because they're like, whoa, you start questioning stuff and you don't know what you're going to dig up. But I feel like that's like the foundation of apologetics, like, you kind of reasoning through certain things. And it's helped me in school, because I'm like, okay, this totally clicks now. I totally get why this is a thing. Like, this stuff is really true. But at that church, he started doing it, and I mean, he was throwing out these things, like these ideas that were like, I mean, heresy. Like, one of the things that he shared with us was that he doesn't believe that Jesus was the only way, which the Bible clearly says that. But he said that he had interacted with like so many good people in the world, and not all of them were Christian, and some of them behaved even better than Christians. And so he just didn't understand like how Jesus could be the only way, if that's like saying that these people wouldn't go to heaven because they didn't believe in Christ. And that's like the pillar of Christianity. Like, that's like, I mean, that's what Christianity is. Like, to be a Christ follower is to say that you believe that he is the only way. And so, I don't know, like, it's so crazy. So I'm like, I remember he did a series of videos, and it was like, I don't even remember how many series, like, videos that he released, but I remember he did a series. And I remember watching them and being like, some of this stuff is not really sitting well with me. But he kind of positioned it in a way where it's like, we're just examining this. We're just be open-minded about this. And so it's so crazy now to look back and be like, I can't believe that I was even watching that stuff. Yeah, it's so easy to be misled, y'all. Like, and that's still a really, really popular ministry. And so, I mean, even outside of that experience, like, I've had other experiences where I feel like, just singles and relationship ministries where it's like the underlying message is, if you're so content, if you just fix your mind on being content, then God will send you your person. Also, you have to behave like the best Christian girl ever. And when you do this, he'll do this for you. It's like, they don't blatantly say that, but it's definitely implied, like strongly implied, and the use of their own testimonies, like, hey, I did this, and because I was so good, this is what God gave me, and so he will do the same thing for you if you behave the same way. And that's such toxic thinking. Like, we should not obey God out of like whatever he can do for us in return, we should obey God because God is good, you know? And I'm like, now under like me studying the word and understanding so many different things, like so many things stand out to me. Like even if it's like a little bitty subtle play on something, I'm like, oh, that ain't in the Bible. Oh, that contradicts this. And so I pay attention to everything now. Oh my gosh, manifestation. That's so big right now. And I'm like, if you have the power to bring things into reality, what do you need God for? Like, what's the point of God if you can do things? And it's like no one ever manifests things for other people. They manifest things for themselves. I don't know. So, anyways, there's so many things stand out to me now. And I realize how easy it is to, like, it's even easy to say something and have the best intentions and not realize that you're contradicting something that's in the Bible, or that you may be leading people astray. And they tell you in seminary, ooh, I love a good solid foundation. Okay, I need to move on to my eyes. My eyebrows, y'all, they're so raggedy. I wanted to get them tinted, but I be looking at them prices and I'm like, oh my God, y'all, I'm gonna do it myself. Like, I just feel like I can order the kit on Amazon and save myself the money and do it myself. I'm gonna come on here with some crazy eyebrows because I'm doing them myself. Like, what am I doing? Oh my gosh. See, this is what you get doing your makeup in the camera. What was I talking about? Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. So yeah, it's super easy to lead people astray, and that's one thing that I've learned here. And I've been so confident before in like sharing the word with people. You know, I feel called to share the word with people, and that's what I want to use my platform for. So if I can be honest with y'all, because I'm like, you know, I always post Bible studies to my channel, and y'all ain't seen one in a minute. So, and I know, like, I did a poll, and then people were like, that's what we want to see, and that's what I want to post. But if I can be like 100% real, the reason why I haven't posted one is because I'm terrified. I am literally terrified. Like, after finding out, like, because I don't feel like people, like, I don't know. There may be people, but I don't feel like anyone just, like, sits at home. I don't want to say anyone. I don't feel like the majority of people sit at home and think, how can I lead people astray? Like, how can I, like, falsely teach, or, you know, teach something that's, like, not biblically sound? Like, how can I disguise this to lead people astray, or to sell books, or to get extra money? Like, I know that there are some that do that, but I don't feel like the vast majority of people, at least when they start, I don't think that that's what people have in mind or intend to do. But I feel like people, you know, some people are pure-hearted, and it happens, or they misinterpret, and it's so easy to misinterpret, because now that I'm here, I'm like, okay, oh, this is the context. Oh, I should consider the author and what the author was trying to say. I should consider the audience and what the audience needed to hear. And the audience wasn't me, it was the Israelites, you know, like there's so many things. Cultural context, and take into account what kind of literature it is. If you have not watched my How to Study the Bible video, definitely watch that, because all of those things are discussed. But, oh Lord, yeah. So, this, like, little thing, it packs a punch. But you just, I love it. Like, the strokes literally look like strokes of hair. You gotta be careful, though. Oh my gosh. I gotta clean it up a little bit, but I love this thing. But yeah, so with that being said, I realized that I have to be very, very careful and very, very studious. And I just don't want to accidentally like mislead anyone. That's just never my intention. And so I'm like, I'm not going to just, throw a video up when I haven't had time to study. And school has required a lot of my time. And so it's not like, oh, I want to study. I want to do a study on the book of Genesis for the people. Like, okay, well, you're reading another book right now for school. So it's kind of like, I just want to make sure that whatever I put out is theologically and biblically sound and useful and helpful to people and well informed. And I don't know, like there's just so many things that I've been thinking about, and such a shift in my content that I want to make, and the way that like I frame my Bible studies. So I'm excited though. Like I'm definitely going to be putting some out soon. So I'm very, very excited. I just wanted to have the time to like be able to study, deeply enough. Cause yeah, I mean, it just creates some insecurities in you, honestly. Like I was so gung-ho about sharing everything before, and I'm like, well, wait, where did that fire go? Now I'm just mostly scared. Okay. So my eyebrows are done. I'm just going to do a quick, like simple eye, because I only have 20 minutes and I still need to get dressed, and I wanted to go over my hair with a flat iron, but I don't know if I have time. Okay. So yeah. So I talked to my professor because I was like, am I the only person who has dealt with this or who feels like this? And that is the trick of the enemy, because I know I'm not, but just to get his take on it. And so I was like, hey, like, I feel I used to be so confident in sharing the word. And, since I've been here, I've realized how much I don't know. And I'm trying to develop like, new study tools and a new technique in sharing and just all these different things. And like, am I ever going to be confident again? And he was like, honestly, in any other field, literally any other field, when you start school, you would never feel like, I'm super confident in this. And he's like, so what was your degree in before? And, I told him nursing. And he was like, so, like your first day of nursing school, did you go in feeling like you were super confident in the information that was presented to you? And I'm like, no. I went into anatomy and biology and I was like, Lord, help me. I didn't know anything. And so he was like, the same applies to this. Like, you can't expect to know everything and be super confident walking into this. And if you are, like, that's low-key kind of dangerous because then you feel like you don't need to learn anything. And one thing that they tell us is that there's never going to be a point when you know everything. Like, you're going to, and I'm not used to that. Like, it's like, oh, okay, I can mark these boxes, I can read these books, and I'm good. But he's like, yeah, it's not like that with this. So that's a tough pill to swallow. But he was like, there is going to come a time when you do feel very confident and, it won't faze you to share. And so I'm excited. I'm excited for that. But yeah, just put things into perspective for me. I'm like, there's literally no other time when we're super confident at the very beginning of learning about something. I think just the thing with Christianity is like, oh, I've been a Christian my whole life and I've read this book my whole life. But really, I wasn't reading it intentionally. Not for that long. In childhood and things like that. It's like, yeah, I knew like what my pastor said, but I wasn't like studying the word. And so, but yeah, you just have like this mindset where you're like, oh, well, I'm supposed to know this stuff because I'm a believer in this. So it's just made me feel like very vulnerable and very like cautious of sharing. And I just want to make sure that whatever I share is edifying to God's kingdom, and I do not want to ever mislead God's people. And to be a teacher of the word is to be held to a different standard, and I realize that and the gravity of it. So yeah, it's just like some added pressure, but I will be sharing very, very soon. I'm very, very excited because like I'm so passionate about like other people understanding the Bible too, and there's so many things that my eyes have been open to, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I cannot wait for other people to have this same revelation, because it's mind-blowing. It's literally mind-blowing. I cannot wait to give that to other women. Okay. All right, I'm gonna throw my lashes on. I'm about to speed through the rest of this, y'all, because if not, I'm gonna be late. So I'm just gonna throw on my lashes. Oh, I may not even do my hair. I might do, oh Lord. Okay, and then I'm gonna change my clothes and I will be right back, okay? It's 6:03. I'm supposed to leave my house at 6 p.m., but I feel like I'm good. So I just went over like literally 10 minutes, y'all. I just got dressed really quick. I just have on like a simple black blouse and some jeans. Yeah. So just like simple, sleek, cute date night wear. I'm gonna get these. But yeah, so I gotta go. But thank you all so much for tuning in and getting ready with me. If you have any questions or things that you would like me to discuss in future videos, let me know in the comments below. Let me know how you feel about some of the things that I discussed. I would love to just chat with you all and just stay connected before those Bible studies come, but they will come, I promise. And in the description box below will be all of the ways that you can reach me, connect with me, contact me, follow me on social media, all of the things. See you next time, guys. Bye.